just start it and then stop it?
Nope, it's streaming.
Okay, well then why don't you let me sit down, please? Ugh. Johan wanted to set a bunch of things up before I got started today. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is adjust the camera angle so you see less of the light and more of the general clutter in the office. And it's been a day. If I look a little glossier than normal, not sure that helps, Johan. Thank you. Hello. Oh, there's people in the chat already. Yeah, that one has issues in the wiring as he's attempting percussive maintenance. Johan, just leave it alone. If you flip it on the other light switch, it'll sometimes come on all the way.
Oh, so it's this light switch that's giving me issues.
So yes, the wiring in the house has issues. But we knew about that. Actually, it may actually be the light bulb being loose.
What? Really?
We don't usually use that light other than he's decided he wanted it on right now. I'm glad to hear the sound is decent because I kind of just slung the microphone up next to me and oh, now Mom's saying it's a little low.
Okay, so wait, up here.
Yes.
Go to filters, press the plus.
Okay.
And you're gonna choose gain. Yes, just press OK. And then you're gonna move it up very slightly.
Alright, so hopefully that helps. Yeah. Could you please let the dog outside?
Trixie, go!
No, she wants outside, not just out of the office. It's possible it's the light switches, Stephen. We have been replacing light switches and outlets in the house, but the office is still the last of the rooms that...
Give her a treat.
Well, then give her a treat, please. The office is still the last of the rooms. Oh yes, he wants to show off what I bought for him today. Yes, I did indeed buy the child 30 pounds of French fries.
It's just an empty box, but she wants a treat.
She knows where the treats are. They're in a specific drawer. So, pickle beer, yes. Pickle beer is because I am hot and sweaty, and some of you may have seen the posts in the last couple of days about me trying to figure out what I was doing for a kitchen island. So, the kitchen island exists now. We had a few moments of not knowing whether or not we were going to have a kitchen island. And yeah, 30 pounds is hopefully more than just a week. And Ben, we also bought really, really nice hamburger meat, so it wasn't quite...
turn the grill on for.
Quite, yes. Oh, he's gonna be my own personal peanut gallery.
Probably for only a few minutes.
Anyhow, pickle beer. So it's like 103 degrees out there, and we came home with the choice of kitchen islands. And I'm going about this backwards. I meant to start with the kitchen islands, but I'll come back to it. We'll start with the pickle beer. The pickle beer is Best Made Sour Pickle Beer, which is brewed here in Fort Worth, Texas. And it's a seasonal thing. It's not available all year round. It's basically when it's on the shelf, you want to grab it, and then it's gone. My friend Dorothy bought me a 6-pack when it was on the shelf because I wasn't able to get to it at the time, and it sounded like it might be something that would be right up my alley. So I've had a 6-pack sitting in the apartment until we moved, and I had opened one and tried it during the winter, and it was not good. I could see that at the right time I would want a pickle beer, but that time was not the time, so I wound up wasting most of the first pickle beer. I kind of thought I might. Flash forward to it's this summer and it's hotter than heck. And I am standing outside doing some light construction ish. We were bolting on casters and wrestling with a very large cardboard box. But came inside and I had two pickle beers in the fridge, ice cold, ready to go. And between Sanford and I, we just about killed the can of pickle beer before moving on to the other portion of hydration, which is water. The pickle beer is salty. It's salty, it's a sour pickle beer, so there's actually a really interesting that beer tartness that can come with some beers. Johan, what are you doing back there? What are you doing?
I'm doing something.
Okay, he's messing with the sound. Okay. Sorry. Um so yes, pickle beer, salty, a little bit sour, very refreshing when you're very hot and sweaty, and great for balancing out the electrolytes, and not enough alcohol to really feel, at least not in a half a beer. And I'm a lightweight, so a half a beer, if it were heavy alcohol, I would feel. Honestly, I'm sure it says 4.7% alcohol in this.
I got rid of the background static.
Okay, I'm glad you got rid of the background static. Thank you.
Tell them about, you talk about bad wiring. Talk about the truck wiring, and yeah.
So we haven't been using the truck a whole lot since we finished up with all of the moving, and we had it out a few days ago. And I realized that the indicators were no longer making the noise, which means that the indicators um, weren't working properly. So we got it home, and Sanford looked up the fuse configuration, which there's evidently this really clever little YouTube, or not YouTube, you can Google, there's a website that has your fuse map for your specific make and model of vehicle, which he said was very helpful because the fuse box in the truck is not in a easy place.
It's on the sidewall, like where the door is in the passenger seat, on the sidewall where your feet are.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on the front, so you can't like look at it straight out. It's at an angle.
Yeah.
So you can't access it, and it's on the other side. It's like on the farther side behind big fuses. It's like impossible to see. You have to feel it out.
Right.
When you're putting it in.
So, and the reason Johan knows this is because Sanford's shoulder wouldn't allow him to change out the fuse this morning because our friend had asked to borrow the truck and Johan. So we had gotten the fuse, we knew where it was, but Sanford asked Johan if he would help him, which Johan did, and it's a good thing because while Johan and our friend were out with the truck doing whatever they were doing, the fuse popped again. So Johan, they were close to a store where Johan could buy fuses. He bought fuses. He changed it. You didn't buy fuses? Oh.
I needed to buy pliers.
Oh, he had to buy
pliers. I can't
pliers.
pull it out. The fuse has like clips over it, like really cheap.
I was gonna say I had it on my desk with the original one that blew, but so the fuse wound up popping a total of 3 times today, and the truck has an appointment with the mechanic.
Which is funny because she made an appointment, and like 5 minutes later, I walked in to go set an appointment in person.
You asked me to make an appointment. I made an appointment.
I said, look at berries, and then the friend brought me over to go make the appointment, so I did.
Yes. So Monday the truck goes in to be looked at. Unfortunately, given that it's an electrical issue, who knows? The truck has a known electrical problem we've been working around. It's how I got the truck in the first place. But hopefully they'll be able to track this one down and figure it. Oh, I definitely want pickle juice popsicles. I am going to probably get myself some of those because it's only June and we are on the, I don't know how many days straight of 100 plus weather, and I am gonna fry.
I'm not looking outside for almost 8 hours.
Yes, this is true. Johan has a new job. Johan is now doing maintenance at McDonald's, at our local McDonald's, and a large part of his job is outside. Now he starts work at 5 in the morning and ends at 1 p.m.,
Yes.
which means that he's not actually working during the hottest part of the day because that's usually late afternoon into evening. And I am not using a penny for the fuse, Ben. I know better than that.
The cool thing is, I shouldn't say the town name we live in, should I? No. But it's
Tiny town.
tiny town, but it's a bird sanctuary. And I think we do something that most towns don't. We pressure wash our driveways and clean signs and do basically a bunch of extra work because there's bird crap everywhere.
Oh,
They land everywhere at night and they. It's so
yes.
fun.
There is bird crap everywhere. This is also another good reason for both vehicles to be parked undercover. Um,
The shop floors
yep.
are.
Donna, I usually do electrolyte drinks. The pickle beer is one of those things that it sounded really good when I came in hot and sweaty earlier. But yeah, no, it's I would say it's been a week, but I don't remember the last time that it had been a dull, boring week. I could use a nice stuck in the rut routine week about now. I have no idea when we're gonna get that. Maybe never. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong really with it being a bird sanctuary other than the fact that I'm told that during dove season, all of the doves decide that they need to be safely inside town limits. And it gets a little interesting. But we haven't lived here through dove season yet.
When is dove season?
Dove season starts, I believe, September 1st.
Oh, okay. We are going to
So,
experience it this year.
yes, we will experience it this year. But I'll tell you what, Johan, could you please go get me some more water, love?
Fine, but when I come back, I'm just going to go sit.
Okay. You know how to fire up pretending? It's not
I
that
know,
hard.
but I what you there for the billings because last time I drove with burgers, I wrecked a lot of stuff.
Yeah, pickled veggies are a good idea. I don't know that I'll be able to find. I should be able to find somebody around here that does pickled veggies. I haven't made them myself in quite a while, and given the state of my little garden right now, I'm not definitely not making them with my own pickles. Because I might get some peppers, and I may get a tomato or two. But the squirrel ate all of the cucumbers and the patty pan squash that I tried. Um, and eh, it's been so hot, I'm having trouble keeping things watered. And right now, something's going on with the tomatoes that I'm going to have to get a close look at them and see if I can't figure it out.
Maybe,
I'm not sure I'd like pickled okra. That sounds like it could get slimy.
maybe I'm probably gonna be super loud. Maybe what we should do is we had those metal tins picked out from I think Home Depot to use as uh
We may or may
these
not
beds.
use
If
those.
we just pick up one right now,
And put the tomatoes in it?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
we go back in the fall and pick up the other two.
Right.
There's a strip of yard along with a fence on one side and the driveway on the other. It's not really useful for much, so putting raised beds there is a good idea.
Yep, and it's not too far from the hose, so we could keep them watered because we're gonna have to water. We'll see. I have not been. I don't know, Ben. I'll have to look. Don, that's good to know. About the only time I've ever had okra that I liked, it was thinly sliced and battered and fried. It wasn't too bad that way. Aha, that does the trick. Okay, I can see how that works. Um, yeah, no, pickles are good.
Aldi bags.
In the car? It says your Harbor
The
Freight
other
bag.
ones.
In the car.
So the only what do we have for making fire?
There are lighters, long lighters, in the drawer on the butcher block table.
Which list? Oh, this one. Never
You know, I really thought that when I had gotten through having toddlers, I wouldn't have to do this anymore. I was wrong. Any of you that are still in the younger years, I warn you, it doesn't end. It's not that he's being chipper right now. It's that earlier we had issues because I wanted a kitchen island. So Sanford and I had gone and run around and looked at a bunch of different options for kitchen islands because we've been talking about for years what we wanted to do for a kitchen island was to um, buy a rolling tool cart with lots of drawers in it. And that was what we were going to use for a kitchen island. It's super sturdy. It can be rolled out of the way if you want to move it for whatever reason. And they're really durable. And in our life, durability is a good thing. So we had gone and we had looked at Lowe's, who informed us that the one that we've been looking at for years was out of stock and was going to be out of stock for the foreseeable future. They had no idea when it was going to show up again. Um, then we went to Home Depot, and Home Depot had some good options. And Home Depot had some that were a really nice size. They were a little more than I wanted to spend, but they were really great as far as depth and lots of tons of drawers and storage space. And then we went out to Harbor Freight because we knew that we didn't need like the super duper tool chest where you're going to be tossing 1,000 pounds of tools in it because it's just going to be the kitchen. Well, um, we looked at everything, and one of the things that we saw when we were at Home Depot is they had this solid wood workbench that was a better height. It was a little bit lower than your typical counter height, and because I'm shorter than your average female, the um, wood workbench seemed like a really good option from Harbor Freight, and it was like half the price of the next thing that I was looking at as far as options go. So we come home and we measure the kitchen and the current thing that we've been using for Kitchen Island, and I look at dimensions online, and I went round and round. I actually made a couple of posts and asked people for some insight because I like to ask the group mind for opinions because often people will bring up things I haven't thought about. And so I got some good suggestions there, and I had finally made up my mind. I knew what I wanted. Well, I was going to run and get this with the truck, and because it was so inexpensive, I was also going to pick up with the truck the lumber that I need to build bookshelves in the dining room. And um, I find out that the truck is not going anywhere because we're not driving it with no brake lights working. For one thing, the cops don't approve of that, and for another thing, it's not safe. So the truck is parked until the mechanic can have a look at it and hopefully fix it, and if not, the truck may be parked. Um, and so okay, I'm like, okay, we can put this in my car. I can't put the lumber in my car, but we can put this in my car. I'll go ahead and go get it. And so the kid and I hop in the vehicle and we get over to Harbor Freight, and I grab the little checkout ticket thing on the big item and rock up to the main counter where I know I'm in trouble because the guy takes it, he looks at it, and instead of scanning it and ringing it in, he turns around to the other computer and looks up whether they have it in stock. And I knew it was going to be a problem right there because it was marked down between the day before when I had looked at it and today, and it was said it was on clearance now. So I'm like, okay, crap. It's gone down in price. They're gone. And he said, I'm sorry, we don't have it in stock. Can I buy the display model, the one on the floor? No, we aren't allowed to do that. Okay. Um, all right, then I'll fall back to plan B and I'll get the other more expensive thing the rolling tool cart that I was looking at. No. Johann at this point pipes up and he's like, I want to build you one. I'm going to build one for you, right to your specs. I'm like, but I wanted drawers. And he's like, a drawer isn't a problem. It's a box inside another box. You just make a slightly smaller box to put inside the other box. So we check out from Harbor Freight with the tools that he has asked for me to buy him, which I will usually do within reason. I mean, I didn't buy him a drill press today, but that's because that might be his birthday present. Um, and we leave and we go to Sam's Club, and I strongly advise you to never go shopping with a hungry teenage boy. Because we did Sam's Club and we did Aldi, and you saw the 30-pound box of French fries. Well, that went along with about that many pounds of meat of various types. And my freezer is packed to the gills right now. Both freezers, the refrigerator freezer and the big freezer. He's knocking at my office door. So I get in and I'm home. We've put stuff away. We've jammed the freezer full. I need to buy another freezer. I was going to buy another freezer, but I was also going to arrange for a quarter of beef at the same time. But now I don't know about that. We'll see. I looked at a freezer at Sam's Club today. I almost came home with that too, but it was a little bit more than I wanted to spend today, especially with the truck being. Yes, my child. I don't want that.
Have fun.
Could you please take Trixie out of the office? Not.
Go.
I know. Go start getting dinner ready if you're gonna make dinner.
Can I find the French fries?
Yes, please do.
Where's the... Oh, the frying pan. I need it. Not the frying pan.
The racks for the air fryer are in
Not
the
frying.
cupboard underneath the air fryer.
I want to eat something.
So, yes, Mom, that's probably exactly what I'm going to do. Although his shop did come with a workbench, but he's probably going to need to build another workbench for the big area of the shop.
No, we use the big workbench. Trixie! Go!
I have the 4-footed toddler, and I have the toddler that's a lot bigger. I think Sanford's in there. The toddler that can flip me the bird. Leave her be. She wants to be with me, evidently. This is not a dog that usually wants to be with me, but right now he... What's that?
Salt, pepper, and paprika?
There's some seasoning in there. Go look on the spice shelves and you'll find some seasoning.
Seasoning I should use.
Whichever one looks good to you. Not lemon pepper.
Salt, pepper, and paprika.
That sounds good. You will note that there was no kitchen island that came home with me during the first trip. Well, I got home and I was not thrilled. I was not happy. And I'm just annoyed, and I finally realized that it was silly and I needed to just go do what I needed to do, because they told me with the workbench that they were out of stock and that it might be in 2 weeks. And I'm like, at this point, I can wait for the supply chain ferry to bring me what I really, really want, or I can not rely on the supply chain ferry and get what I know will work for me, which I have done.
The best thing is they do check all the local stores and none of them had it.
Yes, it was completely out everywhere, and he told us it might be in 2 weeks. So I went to Harbor Freight and I came home with a rolling tool chest. It's 46 inches long, 18 inches deep, And I didn't get the one with the 9 drawers because I decided what I needed more than the drawers was it has like a cupboard on the bottom that has shelves, and it also has these little containers that you can put like spice boxes in, or in my case, condiment bottles. Um, but yeah, Mom, that is exactly what Sanford and Johan have said.
Am I allowed to use the last onion?
Yes, you're allowed to use the last onion. But we have more onions than that, or I would have bought. I forgot to buy onions today because I knew we were getting low. We'll have to get onions. Why does Sam's Club have such strangely shaped milk bottles? This is a question for the ages. Sam's milk is expensive, shaped weird, does not pour well, and yeah, I'm not sure I want to do the Sam's Club membership for another year. Anyhow, two dressers and a wood top actually sounds like a really good idea, Koala. I was seriously thinking about doing something like that, but I want I wanted something now, and if it winds up getting repurposed into something else, the tool chest will still be very, very practical and useful elsewhere. Um, but this enables me to have the kitchen set up the way I want it, and I can go ahead and I'm now fully operational in the kitchen. The cast iron is where the cast iron's supposed to be. I have the kitchen island. I have the butcher block to put my stand mixer on over against one wall. I am good. Um, Yet, Dawn, you have challenges.
Bacon on the grill. How do I do that?
You do not do bacon on the grill.
Can I do bacon on a flat griddle on the grill?
Yes.
Or should I just do bacon on the stove?
I would do bacon on the stove. The spatter thing is hanging on the island.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
And that's the other reason I wanted the rolling tool cart as the island is I have a ton of really strong magnets with magnetic hooks. And they are really great. I initially got them because the tiny house that Sanford and I lived in when I first moved to Ohio, that was his house, had the really old fashioned tin cupboards, um, which were really cool vintage things. I mean, when they weren't terribly big, but they were mouse proof, which was part of the reason that ladies used to have the old tin cupboards. And I discovered these magnetic hooks so I could hang things on the sides of these cupboards like utensils. And since the tiny house in Ohio was tiny and the kitchen was tiny, um, and it was a combined kitchen dining that was smaller than this office that I'm sitting in, quite a bit smaller than this office. Anyhow, tiny. Um, so I got these magnetic hooks, and then they work really well on refrigerators. We had a stainless refrigerator later in Ohio in the nut house, and they didn't go on the front, but they would go on the sides. And I had one side that was completely free and open, and I had all of my measuring cups there by size, and it was. For me, it's really great to have everything, and I know it's a very cluttered visual, and it doesn't work for a lot of people, but when I got to see Julia Child's kitchen in the Smithsonian, I was like, she organized like I do, everything in sight, and then I can see it, and I know I have it. I can find it. So I have all of these magnetic hooks. And I had gotten more while we were at the apartment because the ones that I'd had in Ohio had been packed. I thought I wasn't sure. I couldn't find them, so I just bought more. And the uh, the result is that I have a ton of these hooks, and they'll hold a fairly significant amount of weight. Some of them will hold several pounds. Very strong. You kind of have to pry them off. Um, but they're great for things like I've got the spatter screen I had already thwopped onto the side of the steel rolling cabinet. So I will have some of our most used utensils actually hanging right there where we'll be using them most often. Um, and the handle, because it has a locking caster set, so I've got it locked down so it can't move right now, but it has a push handle, and that'll probably get things hung on it too, other than just obviously that's a good place for the kitchen towel. But it's good. I have it. It's done. Yeah, mom, because with the mold and mildew, that's as much air circulation as anything. So you might want to consider more shelves and less closed up cupboards, although I'm not sure how that would work for you either. Um, Koala, your dogs are special. And I say that with love. Yeah, the kitchen here is actually a fairly good sized kitchen. It's intended to be kitchen on one end and a like a breakfast nook on the other end, and I have turned the whole thing into kitchen and different zoned workspaces for me, because we have a really big dining room here, and it's easy enough for me to just have that for the eating part. Now, I did actually debate getting a proper kitchen island that has one side where there's an overhang and you can put stools under it and have a little sit at island, but the kitchen is long and narrow. So having a 36-inch or wider kitchen island would actually be a problem for the flow through the kitchen. So I didn't necessarily want something as narrow as the 18 inches for the rolling tool cart, but it'll work. It gives us just as much square inches of workspace as the little thing we were using before, and it's it's done, and I could stop thinking about it and move on to something else. And primarily for me that works best. I'm not a patient person, and I'm very, very stubborn. And Ben, that's basically it. Is it's a good plan. It's done now. I don't have to wait on the supply chain to possibly cough up what I want, and for me to be still thinking about it and not having focused on something else. I had a friend come to me today with an art commission, and I have an outstanding art commission I need to be working on. And I've got an art commission that's on hold until the author gets back to me on it. And I have another art commission that's upcoming as soon as the author is done with edits and is ready to talk cover art with me. So I've got a lot of work. I've got a short story that's due in about 6 days, and it's only about half written. So I didn't want to be focusing on this for any longer than I had to. Um, the nice thing about my work schedule right now is that I'm doing 4 9-hour days, and then Fridays I do a half day. So I start at 5:30, I'm done at 9:30 in the morning, and then I'm running around like a crazy woman because I'm trying to get everything done. Actually, having the live streams on Friday evenings uh, is, on one hand, it's kind of like, oh crap, I have a live stream. And on the other hand, it makes me sit down for an hour. And today, I am, as you can see, trying to hydrate like crazy because of it being outside in the heat, setting that thing up. And we were probably only out there for 30 45 minutes, but oof, I can't do that. What have you been doing backwards, Aaron? Not the little Aaron, the Aaron that's in the chat. Because Koala also has an Aaron. Yes, wine bottle sounds good, RK, because the pickle beer is not going to do it for me. So I'm thinking either a wine bottle or rum and Dr. Pepper. Yeah, when that tastes good, there's a problem. Okay, I did get the Texas sheet cake recipe. Thank you. That looks really good. I don't know when I'm going to around to making it. I'm supposed to make a lemon meringue pie for the gang for dinner. Um, oh, you do it. You have your art cover, okay. But not the story. I take it. Yes, yes, you do. I guess that right. Um, yeah, I'm making a lemon meringue pie for uh for the North Texas troublemakers for tomorrow. So if any of you are all in driving range, I don't know who's cooking dinner tomorrow, but there will be lemon meringue pie. I'm also going to be there's an American Legion uh, fundraiser and slash cooking competition slash kind of craft fair, and the North Texas troublemakers will have a booth and be selling books. That will be at the American Legion number 169 in Wichita Falls, if any of you are within driving range. um, I can't do floats. The concept sounds really cool to me, but something about mixing soda and ice cream upsets my stomach something awful. I have ever since I was a little kid. My sister adored root beer floats, but I can't. I never could. One. I'm going to eat one. Sanford will eat one. Yes, you should. And the other four should either be frozen or put in the fridge.
I'll put them in the fridge so you reach the side a little bit.
Yeah, Sunday dinner will be and eat this will you read that meal because I didn't do it last week. Uh, yeah, Dawn, I'm really hoping I'm glad to see you in the chat. I'm hoping you're feeling better. Um Aaron, it's always that way. There is something if there's not one thing, there's another thing. It's like why my office is still not finished because it got pushed off, and it keeps getting pushed off. So persistence, and eventually we live here now. I don't have to be in a rush. I mean, yes, I was in a rush with the kitchen island, but that was a whole different thing. I, I don't think we're going to get to the point where the supply chain is going to completely collapse. Um, but I don't think the supply chain is going to get any better. Certainly not with the cost of gas and diesel where it's at right now. And hopefully we won't have any unrest due to the Supreme Court's decisions the last couple of days. I think that they were excellent and well-founded briefs and justly handed down, but I also know that there's an awful lot of ignorance out there, and some people are looking for an excuse to burn the world down. So, Ben, happy high school reunion. I hope you see the people that you want to see and don't people see the people that you do want to see. There, I have killed the pickle beer. It is all, well, okay, about half of it went into Sanford. I handed it to him for a taste and he kind of went, oink. Koala, I don't think you're going to have to worry about it. I'm not going to have to worry about it. I'm not in the city anymore. It's part of the reason I was in a hurry to get out of the city. Not that I expected for this to happen. I did not expect this. I think when I get off the live stream with y'all that I'm going to go find a bigger water glass and drink more liquid because I am sitting here and I've just had 2 glasses of water, half a pickle beer, and I had a half a Powerade sitting on my desk from earlier, so it's warm and it should be nasty, but it's not. And I'm not feeling the urge to pee, so I'm thinking I need more liquid and probably spent too much time out in the sun earlier, or at least in the heat, because I was working in the shade because Well, my husband won't let me work in the sun. He's been known to gently take me by the sleeve and pull me while I'm talking to someone over towards shade, towing both me and a conversational partner while explaining to the person that I'm talking to, this happened the other day, um, while explaining to them that I can't stand in the sun. And I love him. Ben, yes, I can definitely see that. I'm trying to think. Uh, let's see. I graduated in 1995. I can't technically have a high school reunion because I was a graduating class of one, but I could get together with my sister and the two brothers that were our classmates through most of the time that I was there at the school. And that would be really fun because, yeah, the four of us would probably have a blast if we could get together again. We've reconnected on Facebook, which has been great. Um, so but yeah, 95. I don't know. I can't math right now. Yeah, I think you're right about the pickle beer, Don. Yes. Not only is it Powerade, it's Powerade Zero. It has no sugar in it. So actually, it might have a little bit of sugar to activate the. Um, mm, nope, it does not have sugar. It has sucralose. It's a thing, but it's I'm having to adjust to a whole new world here. And it's going to be interesting because I am hearing from the gardening group that I'm in that this is unusual, this much hot weather this early in this season here. So, thank you, Doug. 27 years. That sounds about right. My oldest daughter is 23, so that's about right. And Aaron, you and I are pretty close in age. The heat here is one thing. It's also just the fact that the soil is different, the the plants are different, the insect pests are different. So gardening here is going to be a fresh new challenge. Um, no, I know, Mom. It would be really difficult to get us all together in one place, so it's probably not going to happen. We might be able to manage it with like a Zoom call or something. That would be fun. I should talk to them about that. Um, maybe for my 30th anniversary, I will arrange a reunion of the four of us. Um, one of the things that I have done this week was so I was helping a friend do some research. He's writing a story and he needed some information on tiger beetles. Now, tiger beetles are a really fun. Yes? Okay. You'll want to kind of keep an eye on them once you put them on the grill.
Bacon's on low, so
Okay.
but if you see Sanford, tell me to keep an eye on them.
Okay, I'm not sure where Sanford is.
I have the map.
Um, right. Long story short, I found a beetle blog, and the guy that runs the blog is a avid naturalist. His specialty is beetles. He's an entomologist, but he was talking on the blog about being a citizen scientist and doing like going out on these field trips with a buddy of his and doing insect collection. His friend does butterflies and he does beetles. And it reminded me that I had wanted to find the Master Naturalist program in my area and reach out and find out what it was going to take to get involved in it. I was in the preliminary stages of doing that. I had registered for a class to become a Master Naturalist in Ohio, and then COVID. So yes, yes, RK, that was indeed for a trailer park story. The funny thing is that there's two of us that are doing massive insect influenced zombie trailer park stories. But anyhow, oh, tiger beetles. are so the most common tiger beetles that most people are familiar with are these beautiful jeweled emerald green little beetles, and they're, I mean, they're so pretty, metallic little things, and they're very skittish, so it's difficult to get a good picture of them. I've gotten a couple over the years, but not like super close. And they're predators, so they're kind of interesting little creatures. But the elytra, which is the hard outer shell on a beetle's wings, have been used in jewelry and in decorating clothing. So there's actually existing, there's a like Victorian era gown, maybe Edwardian, don't, it's been a while since I looked at it, but it is covered in thousands of beetle elytra, like we would use sequins nowadays, but it's all these little emerald beetle wings, and it's, I mean, it's amazing. So yes, tiger beetles are very cool. Um, oh, koala, that's a bummer. Our grill is kind of undercover. It's also kind of an anemic little grill. I really need to get Johan to make me a proper grill. But I got reminded that one of the things I wanted to do was to work towards becoming a master naturalist. It's been a goal for a long time. I'm actually at a place now where I'm not ready to dive into it feet first right now, but I reached out in the local chapter of Master Naturalists. You have to go through a class to certify in it. It'll cost a couple $100. It's really not that expensive. And the local chapter only holds it in the spring, which is a good thing because this means that I have been invited to go ahead and join the group, come to meetings, do some fun stuff. Um, I'll be able to go out on outings and do volunteer work and stuff before I get the certification. Um, so that I'm going to start doing that, and there's a once a month meeting. It gives me a social outlet, which is a good thing, and it gets me towards something that I'm really passionate about, have been for a long time. And I'm kind of at that point now where I'm trying to do not all the things, but pick and choose the things that are really important to me. And I'm starting to feel a lot more balanced and like I can do things now that we're here in the house, and I feel like I can do this, and I feel like I want to do this. I want to get my camera out and find my macro lens and go on bug hunts. I did a little bug hunt this week. As that's part of this whole, gosh, I can do this, and I just with my cell phone and really just really close into the backyard, so I didn't find much. Also, it's so daggone dry. There's not a lot of insect activity. Um, Yes, an inordinate fondness for beetles is indeed an accurate quote and one of my favorites. Um, the thing is, though, koala, tell him that'll have the opposite effect of brushing his hair. The thing about beetles is that there are so many beetles, so many kinds of beetles, but you know what there's more of? Nematodes. The postulate is that if everything else in the world vanished except for nematodes, you would still be able to see a ghostly outline of all of the Earth's features in nematodes, which is really cool. Um, so yeah, this is why I want to get involved in the naturalist program. I have always had a passion for taxonomy. I wanted to be a botanist. The reason when I went back to college that I didn't go for biology is because biology does not pay well, and I had 4 kids that I needed to worry about supporting. So knowing that, I did the degree that I did, which it still had mixed results as far as finding, but I'm at the point where I can support everybody, and I am. Um, and that's a blessing, and it's going to be it's going to be easier once the boy flies the nest and he's off on his own, and I'm not trying to deal with the teenager that wants to be a toddler. I know he was just trying to love me, but I really didn't need the whole, I'll build it for you. No, you can't, you're not allowed to buy that for yourself. I'm going to build it for you. No, I just want to be done. Motherhood. It's motherhood is both amazing and awful and wonderful, and I'm watching him walk out to the grill with spatula in hand, and he's doing good. He can cook. He can actually clean when he wants to. And I am looking forward to him being out on his own. He has a lot of learning to do, and there's some things that he won't learn until he leaves home. And I'm aware of this. And it will be painful, and I'm sorry for that, but I can't teach him some things. There's things he's gonna have to figure out. Aaron, since his intention is to enlist in the Air Force, they're not allowed to call from basic. Yes, Koala. Even as a teenager, you still get that. And Don, Mom and I are in a really good place where we talk. I mean, not all the time, probably less than I should, but and again, that's part of this live chat is so that she can see that I'm doing good. Hi, Mom. Awesome, Aaron. That is really awesome. RK, I don't know if he can sew on buttons. He's done a little bit of sewing, but not very much. So good point to practice. Um, I don't even know what the Inside Straight. I mean, I know it's a card game, but I don't know which one. So that would be a thing that Sanford would have to teach him because Sanford did that kind of thing. I didn't. Um, right, Don. There's only so much you can do remotely. It's like I would like to be able to help my grandmother with publishing, but trying to do it over the phone, she's too deaf to hear me properly. Trying to do it over the computer, her Wi-Fi is iffy, so um, I can't like video chat with her and walk her through stuff. So, and I can't go to grandma easily and sit down with her and be like, okay, this is what you need to do. Okay, I've just had a thought. And this is actually something that I might do for the blog. But if I wrote up really detailed work instructions, like step by step of this is how to do this, that might help her. And if I do that on the blog, then people could kind of proof check it for me and see that I haven't missed anything. Like the other day, we were looking at a recipe on my website and we realized that I had not specified when to add a critical ingredient. I listed the ingredient in the list in the recipe, but hadn't added in the instructions when to add the ingredient. So, um, yeah. G-rated Cards Against Humanity. Do they make such a thing? Because the only ones that I have seen went south real fast. With the right group, it's a blast. Um, that is impressive, Aaron. I don't think mine is going to seek a 4-year degree before he joins the military. He's been talking about picking up a 2-year welding certificate, um, which we are going to start out slowly. And once he shows me that he has an interest and can pass classes, I will be more willing to fund said certificate. In the meantime, it's going to be a one thing at a time. Ben, I'm assuming G-rated Cards Against Humanity is so you can play with small people or people that object to some of the more I don't even know how to say that, the more adult themes that can be in. Um, we had unpacked the games as course of um, finding books, and I still have 8 or 9 boxes of books in the garage that can't be opened because I don't have any place to put them. That's why I wanted to build my bookshelf, but that'll have to wait until the next paycheck now. Um, I also should probably look up how to build bookshelves. Mom and I built bookshelves together years and years ago, and I was thinking that I'd just build bookshelves like Mom and I had built all those years ago. But I'm not sure that's the optimal way to build 8 foot tall, 4 foot wide bookshelves. So I'm gonna have to probably do a little looking at what's out there for instructionals, and another couple of weeks to do some research is not a bad thing. Ben, that is so true. The evil is in our minds. Well, I don't know. Some of the Cards Against Humanity cards, of course, I also have Crabs Adjust Humidity extension pack, and that one goes in weird places. So, okay, that's a great idea. I mean, you have to be a pretty rapid typer, which I'm faster than I used to be, but I'm still not super fast. But that's a really good idea. It is not necessarily a bad thing to have somebody in the appointment with you, because even Sanford, who was very much compos mentis, and but I sent him to see the doctor for the first time in a long time with a long list of you need to talk to the doctor about all these things. And when he got home, he had talked to the doctor about like half of those things, and he just completely forgot to talk about the rest of them. The devious mind has great uses, Aaron. There's ways to use the devious mind. Um, yes, RK, I have encountered that with my in-laws, Sanford's parents, because they just don't understand. Um, I believe his mother has a fifth grade education. No, his mother has an eighth grade education and his father has a fifth grade education. So they literally don't understand. And the doctor doesn't always bother to take the time to make sure that they do understand. Um, I actually, at one point, my mother in law, get somewhat against my um, best judgment, made me sign the paperwork so that I could go in with her because she wanted me, because she knew I would understand. And it is a good thing. Ben, yes, I know it's a long shelf and it will sag. I have planned to do 2 foot runs with a center. So an end, 2 foots over a board, and an end. And these are going to be interesting shelves because I only want them to be 8 inches deep. They're going into the dining room. I don't want to eat up too much of my dining room space. And it turns out that there are not a lot of 1x8 boards available right now. I can get 1x6s, I can get 1x10s, I cannot get 1x8s. So my current plan is to get 1x6s and leave a gap at the back. Like the books will go in and then there'll be just like a gap. Like if you shove little things in there, it could fall down. But there's going to be books, so they shouldn't be able to fall down. I think. I'm playing this by ear. Oh yeah, Don, I was totally an interpreter for Sanford during COVID. If we went someplace together and everybody was in masks, I told people, he's deaf, don't talk to him, talk to me. Because he couldn't hear and he was frustrated with it. Um, so yes, you really, I mean, And I think if you're sick enough, it doesn't matter how young you are or how much you feel like you're going to be able to do it. You should have somebody with you. And that was kind of one of the really sucky things about COVID was that it didn't allow for that. Um, but yeah, 1x2 furring strips are kind of a part of the plan for what I want to do with the shelves, but they're more to hold things up than. Um, I, Aaron, I would say that these days the doctors aren't always allowed to spend that much time with the patient, um, which is a whole nother. I could go on a long rant about the health business, but that's probably another live stream. Uh, I did not have. Hmm, I lost my faith in the healthcare when I went through the whole COVID thing and over the last couple of years, and I'm not thrilled at all with it. But it's it's a complicated thing because we need doctors and nurses, and unfortunately, what we have right now are people that are driven by profit, not by caring for people, and that is um, that's a problem. And yeah, I've done a lot of um, seen a lot of doctors with really heavy accents over the years. Sanford has an issue with it because of his hearing. He has enough trouble hearing as it is, and then he's afraid that if he says something about the doctor having an accent, that they will call him a racist, and it really is literally that he can't understand them. So it makes um, Ben, I'll have to price what it would be to do plywood. I was gonna buy one buys. Um, I don't know. Well, we may revisit that in the next live stream, or I may ask online if people have built bookshelves and can give me some advice. I'd rather do these once and do them right and take my time about doing them and then not have to deal with them again. Put them up, put books on them, forget about it. But, folks, I am smelling good things here in the house, so I think the boy has successfully managed to cook foods, and I have taken up an hour of your time. I appreciate everyone coming and visiting in the chat. And, Mom, it's always nice to be able to talk at you, even if I can't talk with you. If we can get your Wi Fi working well enough, we should do a two-person chat and do a talk on something. Plywood will hold up better. Good to know. I'm glad I mentioned it, and we will definitely have to talk more about that. So, thank you all for coming, and I will see you next week. And in the meantime, stay cool, and if you do get hot and sweaty, pickle beer.